I know, I got some explaining to do. It's Sunday Q&A, and I just bought some goats. What the heck, bro? Let's get into it. This is Sunday Q&A here on Homesteady. Every Sunday we take your questions from our videos from the previous week, and we answer your questions. And I got a feeling a lot of my questions today are going to cover the guy who hates goats, got so many goats yesterday and the day before. Yeah, we got more goats. You'll see that in tomorrow's video. Let's get into the questions. First question is from Olga. Olga says, I don't know anything about goats. Please forgive me if this is a dumb question, but why only get one goat? Will she be lonely or have anxiety issues once the male goat leaves? That's not a dumb question, Olga. That's actually a great question. Yes, one goat all by itself will be lonely. If you watched our video from Saturday, you saw that we purchased two goats. One of them was for my wife's aunt, and that goat will be going back to my wife's aunt. The second goat we purchased for ourselves. We did purchase that goat all by itself. It will be with the goats that we're keeping for Kay's aunt right now. When we move to Pennsylvania, we will be getting more goats. Yeah, there it is. We're going to be getting more goats. So let me explain. How do I put this? If you're a homesteader looking to get started in milk, I still think you should go with a cow before you get a goat. I have not changed my mind or my opinion on goats. Goats are a hassle. They add so much trouble to your life. They are not the best quality milk. They are, yeah, you know how I feel about goats. However, there is a purpose for all homestead animals. And depending on your goals and what you're doing with your homestead, there is reasons to own all of them. My homestead here in Connecticut, smaller homestead, we don't really have a good use for goats here. But where we're going is a much larger homestead. We're going to need help with weed control. We're going to need to improve the pastures. And so there, we will not only need the work of the goats, but also right next door we have this farm, our family's, Kendra's aunt's farm, where they've been doing goats, and they have a huge goat operation there. So we'll be able to have goats bred right there. We'll be able to work with them and their herds. It makes a lot more sense for us to own goats. And knowing goats, they're going to escape from fences and break out. At least there, if they break out, they're still on the family property. Whereas here, if they break out, they're, down on the main road. So Journey Through Love Farm watched our goat video. They said, Ost, you didn't. As a friend, I'm virtually smacking you. You're welcome. Smack accepted. Pebble Farm asks, are you going to be getting more goats to live with your doe because they're flock animals? So like we said, yes, we're planning on getting more goats. And Caleb Drake says, hence rule number 2, going out the window. Yes, we talked about our rules with goats in that video. And rule number 1 is don't go see bottle-fed baby goats because you'll come home with them. And rule number 2 is don't let them multiply, which, whew, there goes that. When we go to Pennsylvania, we'll be increasing the size of our Nubian herd. And the reason why is, like we said, some weed control, some work on the pastures. Goats help out on the pasture effort. Plus, we actually really like goat meat. It's an additional meat in the freezer. When you just raise your own chicken, your own pigs, and hunt deer, that's only 3 kinds of meat. And we like to have more variety. The Nubians are great dual purpose. We're already doing the dairy thing, so milking a goat in addition to the cows wouldn't be a big deal. But I want some goat meat, and those Nubian bucks are huge. So we're going to be, growing the goat herd not only for the weed control, but also because I want more meat in that freezer. So yes, our doe will have some friends, and we will be breeding and kidding and all that. So lots of fun to come. Francesca asked in a much older video we did about raising pigs for profit, how much we ask people to leave a deposit for when purchasing a whole or a half pig from us. If you're interested in raising whole or half pigs, we have a really great video all about how to make money from it right there. So she wanted to know, what do we require for a deposit? I like to break my pig payments up into 3 payments. The third payment, the final payment, just goes right to the butcher. So he gets that payment. The first 2 payments go to me, the farmer, and the deposit is half of what I expect the entire pig to be on my side. So I require a third up front, a third before I bring it to the butcher, and that final third goes to the butcher. Keith Weed asks, why did you get an animal when you are moving? Really good question, Keith. Kay's aunt has been growing her Nubian herd for a long time. And when you try to grow a herd and you're constantly breeding your animals, you're constantly trying to bring new, good quality lines into that herd so that you're creating a better quality animal, you're not inbreeding. And that gets to be a challenge because at first maybe you find people locally to have your animals bred with, but now that line is in your blood, in the genes, and so now you can't breed with those anymore because they're the children of those animals, and you get the idea. So you start to need to pull more genetics into your herd, and to do that you need to go further and further and further. Well, here we are, 8-hour drive away from where we're going, and Kay's aunt found 2 really good quality lines with bucks for sale that she wanted to bring into her herd to change up the genetics. And so she asked us, would you mind bringing in 2 bucks for me when you come down and start the moving process? So we're going to move in stages because this is a family property we're moving to. We're going to move some things earlier and then have our final move a little bit later. So the earlier move, we're going to be bringing some livestock down. So we already had to bring 2 bucks down. So why did we buy another animal when we were planning on moving? Because we already had to bring a bunch of animals. We weren't going to get rid of our cows. We weren't going to get rid of our chickens. 2 little, these goats can fit in a dog crate, so it's not a big deal to bring these goats down. And we're going to be bringing them down in about a month and change. So they're not going to be much bigger. Not a big deal to us to bring a couple animals down. Not the first time we've brought animals either back or forth on family trips. And so this just wasn't a big deal to us. So good question, Keith. Just because we figured, you know what? Ultimately, when you see a good quality animal, good genetics, and you have the chance to buy it, if you're thinking of growing your homestead, sometimes you just say, you know what? This is a good quality animal I can't pass up right now, and it doesn't really complicate my life that much. So yeah, we bought it. Paula Eden says, I think you would have been better off with the Gremlin. I think you're right, Paula. If you don't get what Gremlin joke we're making here, go ahead and watch that last video. You'll see what we're talking about with gremlins. We told you on Friday's video, if you guessed correctly what animal we were getting, that you'd be in the running for getting a Homesteady t-shirt. The t-shirt prize goes to Santa Barbara Homestead. They said in Friday's video, where I said it would blow your mind what animal we got, they said, I guess it wouldn't be a dog or cat. That's too normal. You have a farm, so not any farm animal would blow my mind unless it was something you said was terrible for your situation. Then it might. So unless it's something not very common, then I'll say you got a goat again after saying how bad they were for you. My vote, a goat. You're right, Santa Barbara. You guessed Kiko goat, which was wrong, but I didn't say you'd had to guess the right breed, just animal. So we wound up getting the Nubian goat, and you wound up getting our new Gremlin Goat t-shirt, which is right there. Santa Barbara, contact me, aust@thishomesteady.com. Email me and get me your address and your size, and you'll get one of those t-shirts. And if you like those t-shirts, but you didn't win it, you can click on that link right there and you can go check out our t-shirts. We have kids ones, we have hoodies, all kinds of them. I got to order mine because my kids are dying for their goat t-shirt. So they're new Homesteady shirt. I wanted to share Allison's Folly's comment. Allison's Follies. We're doing a 100-day challenge, and I've challenged you too to join us and do something scary. And Allison said, I have made 5 major changes in my life since your 100-day challenge. I refinanced my mortgage for a much lower rate. I logged my property to help bring said mortgage way down. Great idea. I am a redhead again. Also a great idea. Kay was a redhead when I met her. And I came out of retirement and got myself a job to help bring down said mortgage. Allison's like, boom, 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 boom. All of this has been empowering. Thank you for the challenge. Life is good. I just had to share that. She was inspired by our 100-day do something scary, and she went and did like a few scary things. So way to go, Allison. Finally, this week we mentioned the MBTI personalities and how Kay and I are very much into people's personalities. And if you're not into MBTI or personalities, this video is done. You can stop watching it. But if you're interested in that, essentially the theory there is that in the whole entire world, there are 16 different personalities. And everybody you know is is one of those 16 personalities. And there's much varying degrees, and there's not only like 16 people to know. Everyone is different, but you can learn a lot about people and how they make decisions and how they interact with the world and with you by learning about their personalities. And when we learned our personalities, it was very eye-opening. Wow, look at that. That's why I'm like that, and that's why you're like that. If you're married, if you have kids, if you have friends, if you're a human, I think knowing about this personality thing is really helpful because it kind of makes other areas of your life easier. Anyway, a lot of you asked when I mentioned the MBTI personalities. You guessed at what our personalities were, and a lot of you guys guessed so wrong, totally wrong. One person, maybe two, guessed K right. Nobody guessed me right. So I'm going to read to you what my personality's description is so you know what my personality is. So hold on here. Ready? I'm going to read what the description is and then I'll tell you what it is. So this personality is a true free spirit, often the life of the party, but unlike other types, they're less interested in the sheer excitement and pleasure of the moment than they are in enjoying the social and emotional connections they make with others. Charming, independent, energetic, and compassionate, 7% of the population that they comprise can certainly be felt in any crowd. It sounds braggy when you read your own personality, but all the personalities are great. Read your own. It's braggy when you read your own. It says if they found a cause that sparks their imagination, they will bring an energy and oftentimes thrust them into the spotlight, held up by their peers and as a leader and a guru, but this isn't always where independence-loving want to be. I don't ever want to be called a guru, please. But I do like to share my passions with everybody. They need to know they have the freedom to be innovative, and they can quickly lose patience or become dejected if they get trapped in a boring role. That is why I work for myself. When it comes to career paths for my personality, the suggestions are, and this is fun, writing, journalism, acting, and TV reporting. So modern day terms, YouTube. My personality, it's made up of the 4 letters. I'm an extrovert, that's an E. I'm intuitive, that's an N. I'm a feeler, that means I make decisions based off emotions, not logic, which Accountant Mike is the opposite of me, guys. That's why we do that bit. Any of you who guessed me as a T didn't compare me to Accountant Mike. He is a thinker, I am a feeler. That's F. And then P is perceiving. That kind of just means like I live by the seat of my pants. ENFP, referred to as the champion or the campaigner personality. If you want to learn more about personalities, check out the website 16personalities.com. I'll link to it below. You can take a personality test, which I suggest you take with someone who knows you very well because you can mistest yourself. I did the first time, and it doesn't make sense if you mistest yourself because you're like, that's not what I'm like. But if you test yourself correctly and you read it, you're like, whoa. That's me. So that's me, ENFP. K is very different from me in certain ways and very similar to me in others. She is an introvert. She is an N, an intuitive. She is an F, like me. So we are both NFs, feeler. But then she is a J, a judger instead of a perceiver. So she likes to be decisive and she likes to have a plan. So she's an introverted, decisive, plan-making, intuitive, feeling person. I am an extroverted, intuitive, feeling person who kind of likes to fly by the seat of his pants and make a living doing videos on YouTube. You know a little bit more about us now. Those are our personalities. And if you've never taken the personality test, check the link below. It's really cool. You learn a lot about yourself and a lot about the people around you. Very interesting stuff. And everybody who guessed that I was like an ST, come on guys, you don't know me. You got to get to know me better. Accountant Mike. So my Accountant Mike, if you're wondering, he's an INTP. He's also very like me in certain ways, but very different in that one, he's a T, he's logical, whereas I'm a feeler. Anyway, I know this has nothing to do with homesteading. That's why I saved this one for the end. It's another thing. If I ever started a second podcast, it would be about MBTI personalities because they fascinate me. And if they fascinate you, take the test, see what you are, comment below, tell us who you are. Thanks for watching Sunday Q&A. I really like doing Sunday Q&As. Because it's just a fun way to answer questions and keep in contact with you, the viewers. And tomorrow's video, you're going to see another goat. We bought another goat. So close your mouth and watch the video tomorrow.